There was an idea
to bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
What is happening, everybody? My name is Weston. I'm finally coming at you with a brand new review. This is long overdue, I know, but it's about time I give you guys my full review of Avengers Infinity War. Boy, have we all been waiting for this moment for a long time. And yeah, I bet a lot of people, even up to this day, are still thinking about this movie. Yeah, especially me. I definitely have been myself. Man, there's just, yeah. This is the movie. I mean, it's a game changer for the MCU. That's what I'll say for sure. Now, do I like this movie or not? Oh yeah, I love this movie so much. I love it. Oh man, this movie was just pretty much, it exceeded my expectations. I would say it's just maybe a little bit more, but it definitely exceeded my expectations. Wow, oh my gosh, this movie was just everything I could have hoped for. I know, there's just, wow. Now, is this the best MCU? For me personally, on a personal standpoint, it's my favorite. Yeah, and that's very hard to say because my top 5 MCU films would be Iron Man at number 1. Number 2 would be, Thor Ragnarok, then Captain America Civil War, Captain America the Winter Soldier, and you know what? I totally forgot what my 5th one was. So I'm going to say probably the Avengers. No, not the Avengers. I know I'm forgetting some other movie. Gee whiz, what am I forgetting? But yeah, but this to me just puts it on number 1. Yeah, it's actually late tonight, so sorry if I tend to forget things or whatever. I'm just trying to get this review out and for you guys to see. So yeah, I mean, I just really want to talk about this movie a lot. This movie just, let's just say visually, it is stunning. And whenever it comes to the CGI, especially with Thanos, and of course his little minions or whatever, the other characters that are CGI are so realistic looking. I know they're called something like the Dark something, I forgot. But wow, visually it's good, and it is huge and large. This is a huge movie. Wow, does it feel huge? It's like Lord of the Rings scale epicness huge. Like, it's a huge blockbuster film. And quite frankly, it's definitely the best summer blockbuster of the year. And quite possibly the best summer blockbuster movie of the ages. Or at least right up there for me. I've never had an experience like this with any movie in such a long time. Never has a movie left me so awestruck in so long. So I got a chance to see it twice, which is good. I saw it once on the Friday of the week it was released, and yeah, I saw it in glorious IMAX screening down at the theater down where it's like a 45-minute drive from here, so it's totally worth it. Like, and I was just like stunned. It was just, I was so engaged with the movie from start to finish. Yeah, let's keep on going with the pros of this movie. The storytelling was really good. And I just love how it shows how, you know, the Avengers are apart. And I know a lot of people on a personal standpoint like it better when all the characters are together, every single one of the characters. And it definitely went like that, not completely, but especially towards the end. Yeah, some of the characters got together. But yeah, people don't like it when people separate, when the team separates from each other. But I was fine with it. I like how they have their own arc, and this movie, people feared it was a huge just cluster characters, but they did it well. They focused on almost every one of the characters pretty well and pretty fair. And for those that didn't get as much time as they thought or as they needed, we got part 2 for that. And definitely, because Captain America, while he had his moments, definitely, he didn't have that much screen time, for sure. But I'm pretty sure part 2, he will get more in the focus of the story, for sure. Because he was more focused on the side plot with him and Nat, and with Falcon and War Machine and Bruce Banner. But the main focus, definitely the people who shine were Iron Man, Spider-Man, the Guardians, and yeah, they stole the show, definitely. But who really stole the show was Thanos. We finally got a great MCU villain. And yeah, we had some pretty good villains. Red Skull was pretty cool. I liked him as a villain. Another great villain, Bucky, the Winter Soldier, was the best villain at the time, but now he's the good guy, so that's fine. Obadiah Stane was a really good villain until he became the big, monster guy, but Jeff Bridges did a phenomenal job. So, Zemo from Civil War I actually really like, especially the more I watch Civil War, because he actually divided Avengers apart. He's actually the first villain in MCU to succeed. So I like that. I'm trying to think of any. Hello is a really cool villain. She was kind of the generic, like, oh yeah, I had this past and I was to bring death and destruction to all. That was my destiny, but now I got casted out. Now I'm back. But, she's the goddess of death, so that's the point of her character. But, Kate Blanchett did a phenomenal job. But Thanos, definitely, he just very complex character. He's the big bad villain, but you see his side of the story. You see his past. Especially, I love the flashback when he takes Gamora as his daughter. And I love that scene so much. You finally see the start of the relationship. And, already he had his mindset on having everything perfectly balanced in the universe. So, and that's his whole point. He wants to wipe out half of every living thing in the universe. I think mainly humanity, so that everything will be balanced out just right. And that's his point of view. And so, of course, he's the bad guy. So, of course, in the end, he's wrong. But at a lot of instances, you just start to kind of agree with him with a lot of what he's saying. Including, with the amount of resources, or just all the resources in the universe are starting to run out with all these people living in the universe. And there's just way too much people living. Way too many, at some point. But it does bring a good point. It's like, why can't he use one of his Infinity Stones just to make more resources then? But, you could say that, but the guy's a psychopath, and he just thinks there's more to it than just resources. And plus, if that were the case, we wouldn't really get this film at all. If he was like, okay, I'll just make more resources, and now everything's better. But there's more to it to his way of thinking. And I think we're going to get a lot more to his character in part 2 as well. But this is definitely a Thanos movie. This is Thanos' film. This is where he shines. This is where where a Marvel film finally focuses primarily on the villain. You got to focus on the other characters, but it's just basically, a little bit more build up character development and them just trying to stop Thanos from, creating destruction. And, it's just everything from, it's such a entertaining movie. And the action set pieces are top notch, like I said. Some of the visuals are really good, and the fight scenes are awesome, especially the fight scenes with Thanos. Thanos sprinting down a freaking moon on Iron Man, wow. There's just so many things that happen in this movie that are just jaw-dropping. And the battle at Wakanda was some of the best battles I've ever seen in any movie. It's like Lord of the Rings level epicness. It was awesome. I was engaged. And when Thor showed up, it was amazing. Thor Ragnarok make Thor an even better character, and in here he definitely shined, totally. It's oh my gosh, it's just the scale of everything, and Black Panther, King T'Challa didn't get much screen time, but he still had his epic moments in the battles, and so he was still really awesome. I feel like every character shined. There was a moment where all the female leads had this moment against the female villain, and it was awesome. It's just seeing all of them going at it at the villain, and just it was just so cool to see all. It was like a girl team up kind of thing without being too showy or shoving in your face about it. Like, oh, girl power, yeah. I mean, I'm not too bothered by that kind of stuff unless extremist feminists really start to shove it in your face. I mean, yeah, we get a lot of that nowadays, and people are trying to be politically correct. But I'm trying to just block this stuff. When it comes to all that stuff, guys, I mean, just don't get too bothered by it. I know it can get annoying, and there are extremes on everything, not just with feminists. There are extremes with that. There are extremes with anything. It's white extremist stuff, and there's extremes on everything. But anyways, back to the movie. As I was saying, I love that moment a lot, and it really just like made me smile. And I love when Scarlet Witch showed up in the battlefield. And I forgot the lady's name with the spear. She's one of those awesome warriors introduced in Black Panther. She's like, why wasn't she out there all this time? It's like, yeah, I know, right? But it was just so funny. There's a lot of funny moments in this movie too. I actually like the humor. Maybe some of it was a little bit too much, but I actually like the humor because this movie was there was just a sense of dread throughout this film. A sense of hopelessness. So with the humor, it helped cheered up the audience a lot. This is a film that tries to appeal to all audiences. So you gotta understand when the humor seems a bit too much in the movie or whatever, you can't just say, oh, that's a negative. You gotta understand that you got a lot of kids going to see this movie. So if you don't have any sort of humor at all, you can't just. Look at Thor Ragnarok. It's full of that. Even with some moments that are supposed to be serious, it's just like, just get past it and let's go to a joke. So you can say the same thing about Thor Ragnarok. Except Thor Ragnarok, that was the whole point of the film. And this film, I think it's okay because, like I said, it's such a hopeless feeling kind of film. So so to add a lot of humor to the film as well, I think worked. And I thought it was pretty balanced, pretty steadily for the most part. Some other negatives. Okay, let's go into spoilers right now. So spoilers. Okay. I know you're all pretty mad at Star-Lord. I know. He had it right there, and they could have won. I get that. But then we want to have part 2. We want to have what I think will be called Endgame. Avengers Infinity War Endgame, I think, is what the final Avengers film is going to be called. But there's 2 explanations, maybe 3. So Chris Pratt actually explains, because there's an interviewer with the Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World movie, and then the reporter brought up the question why do people hated your character for what he did in Infinity War, and so Chris Pratt's explanation is, look, he lost his mother when he was a kid. He was taken he was an orphan. He was taken by Yondu. He'd been treated pretty hardly throughout his childhood. But in the end, Yondu was a father figure. So he lost him, and he lost his biological father. Even though he was an evil nutcase, he was still his father. And so he lost him. And now he lost the love of his life. And so he said, yeah, there can be no, he said that's the most human thing for him to do, is wanting to kill the man who finally killed everyone, probably killed the love of his life now. Everyone that he deeply loved are gone. He's got Rocket Raccoon and Groot were still alive, and they're still his friends, but people he deeply love are now all gone. And he said no matter, and he said if he would take that back, he said he wouldn't because he would still do the same thing. And I agree, it's the most human thing to do. And if you think about it, I know as audiences and we're all criticizing, go like, oh, well, that's stupid. They almost won. I wouldn't do that. Oh, yeah, would you? Would you want to do that? You know, losing everyone that you love and now finally losing the love of your life by this psychopath? You get pretty PO'd, wouldn't you? I would. I probably would do the same thing, to be honest. And second explanation is that Doctor Strange looked at all the outcomes. And this was the only possible one. So for this to happen is just what needed to happen. This is, and I hate when people complain about the ending. Yes, the ending, let's talk about the ending. Shocking, right? Did not expect it at all. I was keeping away from rumors for the whole time. And so when that happened, I was like, all I said was, oh my word. And I was jaw-dropped the entire time till the very end credits. And then, of course, the after credits scene. And then it's like, oh, they're bringing Captain Marvel into the game now. So there's a spark of hope there. But I was still shocked. Now, yes, we are getting a Black Panther sequel. We're getting a Spider-Man sequel. So we know they're not dead. That's not the point, though. Yeah, it's supposed to shock you. And they did it for the kids, too, because they think they're really gone. Of course. But this is a setup. Understand this, guys. It's a setup. This is a setup movie for the big stuff. The real nitty-gritty is part 2, yes. And people are like, well, then, you know, this film, I just don't really care about it then. Okay, you could say that about all the other movies, all the other trilogies. What's the point of A New Hope and Empire when the nitty-gritty happens in Return of the Jedi? What's the point of having the Fellowship of the Ring and the Two Towers when the nitty-gritty is to Return the King? So, because all that sets it up. You need the setup. You need to build this up. You need to build up the character of Thanos. You need to get more driven into the other Avengers and the Guardians as well. And then once you build all that up, and now the stakes are high too at this point. The stakes are really high. Half of the Avengers and the Guardians are now gone. If not more than half, I think. And so now there's not much left. And they got to figure out how to fix this. Now, yes, they're going to come back, but this will be at the cost, I'm pretty sure, of Captain America's life. And Iron Man. I'm pretty sure Iron Man and Captain America are going to die in part 2 for their sacrifice of bringing back all the other people. Half of the other half of the people who live in the entire universe. So, yeah, the stakes are high now. And so I like that. And now there's a theory that all of them are in this. I believe in the theory that they're all in the soul gem. Because whenever Thanos is like, you should have gone for the head. Psh. And yeah, so it's kind of Thor's fault that he did actually go for the head. Or instead of just standing there, he could have just like pulled the axe out and cut off his head. But no, he didn't. So, but then again, it's just a movie. But I mean, for this to happen, again, for the villain to win, I like that. I really like that when a movie does that, when the villain is the winner. So, and yes, Thanos is going to lose in Endgame, and Thanos is going to lose, the Avengers are going to win, they all save the day. But from what I've been hearing from a lot of the actors is that even part 2 is more shocking. There's going to be more than just simple, the Avengers win, the Guardians win, everyone is back, everyone is saved, and Thanos is defeated. That's definitely going to happen, but when you get deeper into things and there's more to it than that, that's where you got to appreciate the film more. And when the actors are saying, yeah, part 2 is more shocking, that gets me excited. There's definitely good. And yeah, part 2 definitely, I think, will be the better movie. This is like, compare this to Harry Potter as well. Harry Potter to Deathly Hallows Part 1. It sets up everything. And it's a really good movie. There's still a really good story with it. And you know, the character development is still really good with great cinematography and great entertaining action scenes. And it sets up really well. And then part 2 is a nitty-gritty, and it's even more grand, more epic. And yeah, it is a better movie, but Deathly Hallows Part 1 is still much appreciated because it sets up everything very well. This movie sets up everything very well. This is the exact same thing. It just sets up everything nicely. And so this is why I really love this movie, because it's a great setup. And so, and when people say, I know people really like this film, but they didn't care for it as much. So that's why they're not giving it the holy 5-star ratings. And that's respectable. I get that. But when you're just dissing it, it's just saying, oh, it's predictable and blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, I don't know. I had to, there's definitely the ending was unpredictable. Now you're saying, well, the ending is kind of cheap. Again, what I just explained, I don't think it's cheap at all. I think the ending makes the stakes higher now. And it makes for great storytelling. If you want something really edgy, guys, don't look to Marvel for something edgy or unusual. I mean, come on. Marvel is not meant to be that. Marvel, I mean, it's got to appeal to the mass. But I think Avengers Infinity War went deeper into the storytelling, and I think the villain is finally great and more fleshed out. And same with most of the other characters in this movie, all the other protagonists. So, and especially Iron Man. Iron Man is definitely my favorite superhero, and I really love his character in this movie. Him and Spider-Man especially, I think, stole the show for me, along with Thanos. And Thor, too. Thor and Rocket Raccoon definitely stole the show as well. Yeah, it just, guys, and again, this is my opinion, so agree to disagree. It's okay. I just want you guys to understand why I think this is all great. There's some other issues. This film can be a little bit slow, has some weird pacing issues too. There's definitely some of that, especially when it's trying to come back and forth with the other story arcs. I felt like it kind of got a little bit jumbled up, especially in the second half of the film. But like, those are all honestly all my only complaints. I can never think of really anything majorly bad about this movie. So this is why I can't get this 3.5 stars or get this 4 stars, 4.5. So let me just say this to you right now, guys. This is a 5-star movie for me. 5 stars. Rarely any flaws. And I just can't find anything bad about this movie. There are some little minor things, but everything else takes it away. You can do that with any film. There are a lot of films where it has some problems, but a lot of the other things in this film does so well and are just some of the highest thing in any movie to date that you just have to give it 5 stars. I mean that's just how I think. With this movie, yeah, there isn't anything brand new or unusual or out there in this movie. Don't expect that. But the ending was still shocking enough, and it was just, I think it just makes for good storytelling that the villain wins and that the stakes are high now. And yeah, he hasn't officially won permanently, but just for him to win in this movie is awesome. And so now the stakes are high, and now you just wonder that now, I mean, these people are now gone, but they'll come back, yeah, for sure, but at what cost? The cost of Captain America's life and Iron Man's life. Maybe a lot of the other Avengers' lives as well. Who knows? Who knows is going to really... So whoever dies in part 2 are definitely going to officially die. I'm pretty certain. So I'm really excited for part 2 next year, and I'm so glad it's next year. I'm glad we don't have to wait for another, 3-4 years. So thank the Lord we don't have to do that, because I'm not ready to wait that long. It's a cliffhanger. But this is probably the best cliffhanger I've seen in any movie. Definitely all those part 1's cliffhanger was okay, but it still just let me like, ugh. I mean, I just did a marathon of the Harry Potter films. I've never watched them until this year, so I was able to go from part 1 to part 2, so no big deal. But I could tell for a lot of Harry Potter fans, it's like, But I think part 2 came out the next year. Maybe I'm wrong. If not, then yeah, that would suck having to wait for like 2 or 3 more years. But for this, we're only waiting until next May, and that's already less than a year away now, so it's like 11 months or less, so not a big deal. And so it's such a great cliffhanger, like I said, because the villain won, the stakes are high, and it's just like, even it is a shock factor, no matter that they're going to be coming back or not. I mean, we're pretty sure. And maybe some won't. Maybe there's more to it than that. Who knows? Maybe part 2 will really bring something really just like completely more shocking, because the actor for Thor, Chris Hemsworth, really said part 2, he in his eyes is a lot more shocking than part 1. So I'm really excited to see what part 2 is going to be all about. this film just succeeds in everything and what it needs to be. Great storytelling, great characters, great setup. The villain is fleshed out. The characters are all, focused pretty well for the most part. Most of the protagonist characters. Some I wish would have had more screen time, but for the most part, I feel like everyone had a chance to shine. Yeah, definitely everyone had a chance to shine in this movie. Definitely. Even Groot, he didn't really do much in this movie, but he helped made that act, and he had his awesome moments. Everyone had an awesome moment in this film, so I'm really glad, and I'm really glad that female leads definitely got an awesome moment too, just fighting together against that villain, and it was really, really badass. So I'm really happy about that. It just overall, guys, yeah, like I said, 5 stars. I mean, I'm still sticking to that. It's just, when I look for a movie, I look for like actual flaws. When a movie is just like, oh, it doesn't do what I wanted it to be, or it's not as unique I wanted it to be, and and I respect your opinion on it, totally. But I think this film just did good as far as the story goes. As far as the action goes, the visuals, the cinematography, the characters, everything about it, I just think it's done really good. So, and yeah, this movie definitely had some minor flaws, but it's still a 5-star film movie for me. And when I watch the second time, I try to, come in with a more open mind, because the first time I was definitely hyped up for it, and I just loved it. But the second time, I'm like, okay, let's just try to focus on the details. And yeah, while I still notice those issues, deep down for me, it didn't really bother me all that much. I still really liked the movie, so I'm really glad. The Russo brothers, Disney, use these guys for Star Wars, okay? And me personally, yeah, I like The Last Jedi a lot. But they are very consistent. Marvel movies have been very cohesive, consistent, because they plan all this out. Every freaking movie, no matter if it's a good movie or a bad movie, it all's been consistent, and it's all been leading up to this. And everything makes sense. The Last Jedi, yeah, I know the divisiveness. I think it's a great movie, and there's definitely a lot of things in it that makes it a great film, but there's still some consistency errors in the sequels, definitely. Even the prequels have their, and when people complain about the sequels, especially for those prequel fans, you're being hypocritical, because the prequels can have its consistency, cohesive issues as well. And trying to ruin this, or change that, or change this, or try to expand on this, it's just like unnecessary. So, and yeah, and of course, the original trilogy is unbeatable. I mean, the original trilogy is just a solid fantasy trilogy about good versus evil, with family and hope and redemption, and it's all great. The prequels, it was more expanding on the lore, whether it be world building or characters or story, and especially with Episode 3, it does really well. It does a really good job. Phantom Menace is decent. It's enjoyable to me personally, and Attack of the Clone, I just think it's pretty bad. It had potential to be an improvement over the first one, but honestly, me personally, I just don't like Attack of the Clones at all. That's the only Star Wars movie I don't like. Even with Solo that came out, I actually like it. So expect a review on Solo too. So this won't be my only review of the week. Hopefully, I'm planning to get to Solo this weekend as well. So you're looking forward to that. So yeah. I really like this movie. Really like Avengers: Infinity War. If you have not seen it yet, which I'll be surprised if you haven't, go do yourself a favor and watch it right now. Everyone, I doubt, in this entire Green Earth has watched it so far. It has received so many tickets, and the budget right now is almost at $2 billion, I think, and I think it's going to get there. So that's amazing. Box office wise, it succeeded. As a film, it succeeded. Whether you didn't like it as much as I did or not, you gotta admit, as a film, it's a good movie, and it succeeded pretty well. It really did very well for me. It very well succeeded. One scene I really like, though, let me get into some moments I really like about this movie, is when Iron Man and Tony Stark's about to make that call to call Steve Rogers, because they broke up, and Mark Ruffalo, huh? No. Bruce Banner is just like, what? He's like, just call him, man. And then that moment of silence, and then the tension build, and he's looking at Doctor Strange's hair. He's like, hey, you haven't. He's like, hey, you don't happen to be moving your hair, are you? He's like, not at the moment. And then you see the wind blowing, you see stuff, and then you hear crowds and cars. That tension build, and it's almost like it felt so immersive. It felt like some kind of alien contact film, like War of the Worlds or something like that. And then you see this huge alien ship, and it's just like you feel like you're actually there. It's like one of the most immersive thing, probably the most immersive thing about the film for me. It was just like, whoa, all that tension build was just so well done. The Russo brothers are just great filmmakers and great writers too, and it's just, I love what they do. They're just really good at making movies, and I just love that moment especially. Let me just say, Doctor Strange stole the show for me. I forgot to mention it. He stole the show for me. He's probably my favorite character, and probably my favorite part of the movie, besides Thanos. Doctor Strange. I really like this character. I like the Doctor Strange movie. I think it's pretty good. But, you know, in this movie, I think his character really shined. He really just, I just love his moments. Doctor Strange is just, he's almost becoming my favorite superhero now. He's definitely in my top 5 superheroes, MCU superheroes, for sure. And I just love his performance in this movie. Benedict Cumberbatch, he's always just a solid actor. He did a great job. So, yeah, I love that moment. And of course, the Titan battle with Thanos was amazing. The ending, of course, was a great moment when Thor showed up in Wakanda. Bring me Thanos! Like, what? Like, so awesome. And visuals and the action is so good. And the entire battle of Wakanda was phenomenal. And everyone had a chance. Even War Machine. I love my War Machine guy. I wish he had more moments. But in this movie, he had his moments, and I'm glad he had more badass moments. Dropping like that air bomb strike on the creatures against the shield, which is so cool. There's so many great moments in this movie. The Guardians were great, and I love the chemistry between Gamora, Thanos, and and Chris Pratt did a great job. Rocket Raccoon and Thor's chemistry was really good as well. And of course, when Bucky picked up Rocket Raccoon, spinning her around, shooting her guns, like, ah, he's like, how much for the arm? He's like, not for sale. And he's just like, it's so good. And of course, when Thor and Captain America communicating, he's like, I see you stole my beard. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, this is my friend Tree. I am Groot. He's like, I'm Steve Rogers. There's a lot of funny moments in there too. And of course Drax is funny as hell. That's his character. He's supposed to be a funny dude. But also the guy who wants to seek vengeance for Thanos. And he was really good at that too. But with the whole, where is Gamora? Yeah, I'll do you one better. Who is Gamora? I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora? I just love it. Drax is just, oh my god, it cracks me up so much. It just, everything was character fitting. Even if you didn't like Star-Lord's moment, it fitted his character. That guy has temper issues, okay? He has anger issues. It fits, alright? Especially when he lost his mother and when he found out that his biological father killed his mother, he just started shooting at him. He's like, you bastard, you killed my mother. Like, he was just so mad. It fits his character. So for him to do this against Thanos fits his character. Now I know. It's just like he literally had the glove right off his hand, and I know. It's irritating. But it fits his character. To me, it makes sense. It didn't bother me all that much, especially the second time. I'm never going to watch this a third time for sure. I'm hoping I'm going to watch it one more time in theaters because I just love this film so much. Things have been busy. That's why I haven't been able to get around with this review soon or able to watch it a second time sooner. It's just things have been really busy lately this past month or so. So, yeah, again, apologize, but I'm glad I was able to get this review up and running now. So now that you guys watch my reviews, see my opinions, mentioning how I think about the movie and why I like it and why I think it's a 5-star for me. So anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Give this video a like if you like my review, and comment down below. Tell me what you guys think of the movie, and how would you rank the MCU films now. So the way I'll rank them, I'll do probably a ranking video in a separate video. I'm actually pretty tired tonight, so I'll just make a separate video with that. I'm not sure. I'm getting close to 200 subscribers right now. Whether that'll be at the time I release this video or before that happens, I'm going to do a 200 subscriber special video, so I'll definitely do that. This isn't the 200 subscriber special, but it'll be something else. You guys will see. It's a little something kind of cool. But yeah, I thank you all so much for watching. I'm glad you all enjoyed my review. If you did, and again, give it a like, and tell me what I want to hear y'all's thoughts. I love to see, I love to comment and interact with you guys. It's always fun to me. Every newcomers, I thank you all for watching, and subscribe to my channel for more video reviews, reaction videos, news updates, any other kind of videos I can think of. I will just post it up there, especially that one 200 subscriber special video coming out with. It's a different kind of video, but I'll definitely try to do more of those on my channel as well. You will see, and yeah. And of course, I got like 2 or 3 projects in mind right now that I want to put out there. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.
Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe. But this does put a smile on my face.